Okay, so the next step here is going to be, we're going to be adding an orb to this here. So I did find online a really good tutorial on making an orb. I'm not going to do that because there's already a few tutorials on how to do that in After Effects. I used their tutorial, I created the orb, and it looks pretty darn good. So this is the one that I'm putting in the link here. This person that's done this has done a great job on doing this orb here. Let me mute this just so I can just kind of show you the visual, creating this orb here, which works really well for the end of the ball there. So I'm going to show you how to track that. But if you want to do the orb, you can go on this. It has a lot of like a fractal noise effects on this. This user is using this Aaron. Anyway, yeah, you can totally. I'll have the link in the description. You can go ahead and watch that. And that will help you with the orb part. Once that's done, you'll do that in After Effects as well, and it doesn't require any plugins at all. It's just done with After Effects and After Effects alone, so it works pretty well. But right now, I'm going to do a track for the orb. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to import the orb project that I did here. So I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to go to Import. We're going to import a file, and we're going to import the orb project here. So right there is the one that I worked on. I did exactly as he suggested. I did a little bit of different coloring. But now it imports it. Whenever you import a project into After Effects, it imports the whole project inside of its own folder, which is nice. So it keeps everything nice and organized. But we're going to go to Comp 1. I've got to rename this. This is my final orb here as I press play. It's just, and I slowed it down a little bit. He had it going a little faster. I did a little bit slower, which worked pretty well. So yeah, so I kept it a little bit slower. And you can do that in the tutorial. He shows how to do that and change the speed and everything in the tutorial. So I've got that, and this is called Comp 1. I'm going to rename that to Final Orb. So that is my timeline. That's the effect. I'm going to be dragging that down onto my timeline once I've done the tracking here. So we got to track this thing right here. And this takes a lot of manual work. It wasn't terrible, but yeah, whenever there's motion blur on it, since it's a big green ball against a green screen, it did okay tracking. And sometimes there's a lot of manual work that has to be done on it as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this green screen layer and I'm going to duplicate it, hit Command D or Control D on a PC, and it will duplicate it. And I'm just going to drag it to the top because I'm just going to have it cover everything. And but this I'm going to delete later on. Or if I don't delete it, I'll at least turn it off. Because once I get the tracking data and add it to a null, then I don't really need that layer anymore. Because I want the original green screen layer, because right now it's keyed out, so it's not going to track it. So with this one, I'm going to select it. We're going to go up to Effect Controls here. And make a little bit more room. We're going to go up to Effect Controls, and I'm just going to turn these things off. I'm going to turn off the Lumetri, turn off the key light. Actually, I'm going to leave the Lumetri on. I want it kind of contrasty, but I'm going to turn off the key cleaner and the advanced spill suppressor, and I can actually delete the masks off this as well, because I've got them on. This is my original down here, so I don't need the masks. They're just there to annoy me now, so I'm going to delete these, select them, and delete them under masks. And I'm going to leave the Lumetri on, so it's a little contrasty, so it tracks better here. But I am going to right-click on this and pre-compose it, so it flattens the Lumetri as an effect in here, and because the tracking will ignore the color grading and go to the original clip. So I'm going to right-click, pre-compose, move all the attributes there, and hit OK. All right, so now we got that ball there. Let's go ahead and start tracking this. I'm going to go up to track motion here, click on track motion. And it opens up the little tracking marker here. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to put 2 tracking markers on this here. We're going to track 2 spots here. And I'm going to put it at the base of this because it gets a really good tracking point there with the brown color, the contrast between the brown and the green. But I'm going to go up and check. This thing kind of rotates and changes scale as it gets closer to the camera. So I'm going to do rotation and scale as well. Check mark those, and this will give you, to do rotation and scale, it needs 2 nodes to determine how it's turning and twisting, and it doesn't do that with a single node tracker here. So I'm going to make this one a little bigger as well. Just make it a little bigger, and I'm going to grab in the center here and drag that down. And make sure you don't grab the crosshair or the outer wire frame there. I'm going to put it like right there in the corner, and maybe we'll make this one a little bit bigger as well. Just so, because this has a lot of shakiness going to it, but there's so much motion blur in some of this that it just like loses track. But let's make these a little bit bigger there, because there's a lot of movement on this. And let's start to track here. Okay, so that's good. So what it's going to do is it's got these 2 points. I'm scrolling up here on my mouse. get closer, it's going to track this point and this point. And if that thing rotates a little bit, it's going to add the rotation values to the null that we're going to add here. So let's zoom out. Shift question mark will zoom out. And we're going to go up to the tracker and press play. And I'm going to sit here and just watch it and see what it does here. So far, so good. And I'm going to let that track until it loses the tracking, and then I will come back and show you what we do from there. All right, so I'm back here and watching this. It starts moving and losing track right there. It's moving down a little further. So you got to kind of sit there and watch this. Look at the gap that it's got there now. Now it's a little bit of a bigger gap. Let's keep it going right there. It kind of goes on a little bit of an angle. And that's not too bad, but you want to keep watching until something screws up really badly here. And I'm going to keep watching it and see if something screws up. It's going to screw up here because she's going to like throw this staff forward, and it's going to probably going to lose track. It's done pretty well so far. This is like almost about not quite 2/3 of the way through here, but I'm watching and it's still going. And yeah, you have to keep watching this, and right there it's getting worse. And right there, it's gotten wonky. So that's right about where we have to start manually tracking this thing. So what I've done here, let's go to my layer here that I've been tracking on. I'm going to arrow this down. I'm going to go to motion trackers, and it's got the two trackers on it right now, the left and right tracker. Let's delete some of these here. I'm going to go back to where it was last on track, and it seemed like it will do pretty well up to this point. And then right there, I'm using page up and page down, and right there seems like it really goes on an angle. So it like kind of changed and went on an angle. So I'm going to delete that the last couple of tracking markers here. So let's go down to the bottom, zoom up on this, and with these arrowed down here, you have to have these tracking points arrowed down. I'm going to grab the last maybe 2 or 3 markers here, or tracking points, and hit delete and delete those markers here. So now we're going to start tracking manually. I'm going to go back to the last keyframe that was tracked right there, and this with trouble spots like this, you'll have to stop in the middle and track them manually. If she slows down a little bit, we can go back up and analyze up here and keep tracking as long as it's not shaking terribly. And I'm going to hit page down like maybe 3 times here, maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm going to grab these markers and put them back in these corners like this. So this is where you're doing it manually here. And this usually does a pretty good job if you kind of find a spot that you keep tracking to. And now let's see how that did in between. Seeing here, it's like it's scooped up a little bit, so I'm going to have to move those down. And unfortunately, you have to do page up and page down and keep tracking these. That one's not too bad there, but maybe fix that just a little bit. Yeah, and then there we go. So if I go page down a couple times, I'm probably going to have to track this like frame by frame, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it goes. So I'm going to let's hit page down 3 times. And page up goes to the left, and let's move these back to where they go and see if it tracks it in between. And if not, then you have to kind of go and add new keyframes in between. And it adds a new keyframe every time I add that there. So let's get this one a little right there. There we go. And I'm going to hit page up, and it's a little bit off. And some of the, if you're being nitpicky, then you should be doing this. If not, then it might look pretty good if you don't do all this stuff. By the way, if you need to move your canvas here, you middle click like right there on your mouse, and it turns into a hand and it moves it. So now as we page down, and let's move up these and grab this. And unfortunately, this is part of effects work. You got to just like just do some of these manual tracks on here, but that's keeping track of that pretty well. So let's move down, and when it goes off screen, we're going to have to actually compensate. This one downfall of this type of tracker here, of just tracking motion, is these boxes will not go outside of the canvas. I wish they would have fixed that. They've never fixed that. This is kind of an old school one that's been around for a while. So, and they think that's been corrected by, by 3D Camera Track, which it has not been completely corrected. So I'm going to drag that. See, that's as far up as it will go, and that's as far up as it will go. It will not take those inner squares outside of that location. So we can just leave that alone for now, because we will track we will actually animate the kind of guess where that orb should be out of the canvas, and we'll do a position track, which does it outside the canvas, which is nice. So I'm going to wait till that comes back in. Let's move it over here. Move down, so middle click once again, and there it comes back in the screen right there fully. So I'm going to move it over. I'm going to grab this one, and drag that over, and we'll put it right back on that position there. And I'm going to keep doing this, and then I'll see if I find a spot where the orb slows down. And right there, I missed a point where the green orb is right there, so I'm going to get these here the best possible. See, that's as far as I can get it up there, so that's as far as I can get it moved up there. So now I'm going to page down, and that's on track, and move these over, and maybe we'll try to do a little bit of analyze here forward in a minute. But I'm going to keep doing this, and then until it finds a spot where this orb kind of slows down. Okay, let's try something. I'm going to increase the range of tracking here. Let's try to click in that middle one and grab that and drag it out. We're going to try to increase the range that this staff could move. That's the outside, like I showed in the earlier tutorial, the outside square. The inner square is the range of pixels it's trying to track, and the outside is the potential movement that this staff could move from like here to here, that distance, or from here to here, that distance. It takes longer to track if you do that, but it gets a little more accurate. I'm going to press play and try that and see. Let's just watch one of these frames and look how long it's taking here to do one frame track. So maybe I don't want to do that. But let's see right there. And it looks like it kept track of it pretty well. That works, but you just have to kind of find the balance of, is this faster to let it do this or to do it just like frame by frame and do it myself? So let's let that go. And you pretty much have to sit and babysit it as well and watch it. And when it goes off track, it helps if you stop it. See, like right there it went off. So that's probably not going to be worth my time there. So I'm going to make these smaller here and make this one smaller. And then I'm just going to zoom up here. Let's move my mouse over this and scroll up. And I'm going to, I'm on that frame right there. I did pretty well up until this frame. So I'm going to grab this and just drag it to where that little tracking marker is right there on the edge of the dark wood there. I'm going to grab this one and drag it out and put it like right there. And then I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to do page down. But if you can find points where the staff is kind of holding still and track it over like maybe 10 to 15 frames, it'll save you some time. So with here where it's just in motion constantly, and once you get used to this, it doesn't take a terrible amount of time. This will probably take me like 20 minutes to finish this up here. So I'm going to hit page down, and I'm going to grab that and drag it down here and keep doing this until the staff is holding still. And then once it holds still a little bit, I can hit the analyze forward and let it track the few frames, like, I don't know, anywhere from like 5 frames on up to maybe, I don't know, like 30 frames or more. And then when it loses track, I got to sit there and watch it. When it loses track, then I will sit there and manually pull these things down and add those manual keyframes there. So, and then when it goes off screen, I'm just going to have to leave a gap like this, and then we'll show you the solution for that when we add the orb into the timeline here and attach it to the null that will have all this data right here. So, okay, well, I'm going to work on this for a bit, and I'll come back and show you what we've got for the final product here. So. Okay, so now I've finished all the tracking here. Show you everything they've done. You can see the path here, and this, for the first part here, this tracked pretty well. About, like I said, about like 2/3 of the way through it. That was all the motion tracking before she starts going crazy and starts throwing it up in the air. And then I did all this kind of manual stuff from about here on is where I kind of did some of the manual stuff. Then I did some retracking through here when it kind of held it a little still and got like 10 frames out of it. But when it goes off the camera like this, I just leave it there until it comes back on camera here, and then that's the new keyframe when it comes on camera right there. So it just shifts over to the side, and we're going to fix that when we add the orb to it. We'll do a little bit of position animation on the actual orb when we add the orb. So as we move through it, then she goes here, it goes off screen again, and then she pulls back right there, and everything comes back on the screen right here. I do notice I got a couple frames in between here I got to fix. If I page up, yeah, like right there, my tracking markers kind of went off a little bit. So I'm going to add some new keyframes there. I'm just going to grab this, reposition it, just do a couple little fixes here, and then we should be good to go. Page up, get the tracking points right here. Just get those on as much as possible. And I think after that it goes off screen. See that? I can't even get to the end of the wood staff there. So that's going to be about it. Okay, let's look at the rest of this. This looks like it's tracking pretty good. It goes off screen up above and comes back on screen and goes down until she starts pushing it forward right there. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to now add this tracking data to a null here. So we're going to go up to Layer, make a new null, and we'll call this null. Let's call this one Orb Tracking. So we know what's going on there. Orb Tracking, we'll leave the name Null on it so I know it's a null as well. Orb Tracking Null, there we go. Okay, so now that we've added the null, we can go up to We can go back up to our tracker here and we can say edit target. We're going to add that to our orb tracking null. Hit OK and apply and say yes on OK on X and Y axis. And now we've got that null there. So now look at the, let's turn off the green screen. We don't need it. I'm just going to leave it there temporarily. But, I had the orb selected, or the null selected as well. So it took that off. But there it is. Now you can see that little square there that moves along with the staff. Let's turn down the quality here. We've turned down to half. If it ever does that, whenever you shut down the software and you open it back up, if this goes back to full quality and take it down to half, it'll help render it a lot faster. But it looks like that null is like following it. There you got that little faint square following it. It's rotating. It's changing size, it's scaling as well. There we go, and we've applied it to it. So now we can go to the beginning. We can go up and grab our final orb composition. We can drag that down and drop it on top of the timeline here. And we're going to position this in the approximate position here. We're going to grab it and move it down so it's on top of the staff. Let's hit scale. It looks a little big, so we're going to make this a little smaller. We're going to make it look like the proper orb size. I mean, you guys know what standard orbs look like. We buy them in stores and stuff, so you know how big they get. So we scaled that down to the staff there. That looks about the appropriate size there. Put it on top of the staff. And now we're going to take the parent link here on the final orb and attach it to the null. And now when we move through this, I'm going to page down. The orb is moving with it. So let's see if there's any issues here. I'm just going to play through it and let it render. And it looks like it's sticking to it pretty well, but oh, there was a little glitch right there. You see that? That little glitch, some keyframe went wonky there. So all we have to do is delete some keyframes on our null here. We're going to select the null. Let's zoom up to this and look at these keyframes and see right there that keyframe. It looks like, is it that one that's doing it? Let's grab that keyframe, those keyframes there, and delete. And it's still moving down, so we're going to have to kill the... So let's kill a couple around them like this. We'll kill a couple around them and delete. There we go. That seemed to fix it. Now it moves through. Yeah, now it just interpolates from this keyframe to that set of keyframes right there. So yeah, that was weird. It had a weird position and a weird size and everything on it. So that seemed to fix it. But let's play through the rest of this. Zoom out, play through it, and let's see if there's any weird wonky stuff. A little bit there, a little shaky there. Some of this will be hidden right there. It kind of tilts to the side a little too much. So let's get rid of some keyframes in there. I'm going to delete maybe these three again, like that. Delete, and then see if that kind of fixes that little tilt to the side there. That seemed to fix it right there. So it is a little wonky there. I'll fix that. I'm going to come back and fix all these. But right here, you see it like all of a sudden scales way down there to a really small size. So I'm going to get right on that keyframe right before it starts scaling. And we're going to zoom up on this and get rid of the scale keyframes maybe. Let's try that. See if the next keyframe here, I'm going to delete that. Let's see where it ends. I'm going to delete this one. Delete. Just on the scale part. Move over here and just do it on the scale. I'm going to leave rotation and position alone. I'm going to hit page down. And let's see when it grows back to normal size. There it gets huge. So I'm going to get it maybe right about there where it kind of goes back to normal size. And we're going to delete all of these scale ones right there. Let's try that and see if that works. So that looks a lot better. Down here it kind of tilts down to the side. So I got to get rid of this. Let's get rid of the rotation and position. We're going to fix that when it goes off screen anyway. We're going to fix the position and keyframe the actual position. Let's delete that. And that looks a little bit better. It's a little off. That's fine. We're going to do some changes on the position here. Let's keep it at that size. It seems like it's still a little too small until it reaches there. Then all of a sudden it gets back to normal size. So let's get all those scale options right there. Delete and see if that fixes it. Now it's about the same size. That looks good. Okay, cool. Cool, that works. All right, so now that we got the wonky stuff fixed, we're going to make this cell a little bit by adding some motion blur to it. So when it's in movement like this, when it's animated, right now it has no motion blur. Like look how her hand's blurry when she's moving it really fast and the orb is not. It's a really simple fix. All you have to do is go down to this motion blur thing and it will detect the motion. It'll detect the motion based on the 24 frames per second and at what would be called a 180-degree shutter angle, which would be a 1/48th of a speed shutter, which would cause the right amount of motion blur. All we have to do is move down to this, not the tracking null, but go to the final orb, turn on the motion blur, and there you go. Now you got motion blur when it's in fast movement. So now it will have that motion the motion blur when it's moving, and that makes it look better.